criminal justice, healing, education. Good morning, afternoon, evening, however, or whenever you are watching. You guys should know me by now, but if you guys don't, my name is Holly Berry. I am the lovely host of this more than a podcast, Morning Mimosas, where we empower the Black and minority communities through wellness, justice, and wisdom. Guys, I usually play a commercial before we do the beginning of the episode, but I am beyond honored to interview this state representative. So we're going to go ahead and do what we do here. We're going to go ahead and just get it started. We're going to welcome this queen the Morning Mimosas way, though. You guys know how we do. We welcome people as so. Oh. My apologies, guys. I just, that's just, it's a jam. I just love welcoming people that way. But, guys, look who we have on the show today. Miss Sarah Woodson. Okay. Guys, Arapahoe County should be proud right now. Arapahoe County, Colorado, because I don't know if there's another Arapahoe County. I had to clarify that. Super duper excited to have you on the show. Super duper excited to just get straight into the questions. But before we do that, as you guys know, on Morning Mimosas, we care about the person first. So we're gonna have Miss Woodson go ahead and tell us a little bit about who she is, and then we're gonna get into the questions.
Well, yes. And I just want to say, you, my friend, are resilient because this has been a long time coming and you were not playing. I was like, I'm busy. You were like, I'm still, yes. So just thank you for your patience and your resilience because I think like that's how you get things done is you don't stop, you keep pushing. So I'm honored to be here with you on your platform today as well. So thank you. A little bit about myself. My story is so interesting, but essentially, I'm from Colorado. I was born at Denver General, which is now called Denver Health or something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And my mom and dad met in South Central Los Angeles. My mom wanted to have all her kids in Colorado. My dad was quite upset about that. And so, for the beginning portion of my life, I moved around a lot, specifically in the house district that I live in now, and then a little bit in California. Um, then fast forward, I graduated from Eagle Crest High School. I attended Community College of Aurora as a young mom, married young mom. By the time I was 23, I had three kids, twins, and a 4-year old. And then around 25, I started a bankruptcy and divorce business. And I grew that for almost 12 years. So when it was all said and done, we were on Colfax in Ogden, Chambers in Mississippi, and Colfax in Lakewood. And then essentially, I decided that I didn't want to do that kind of work anymore. My mom passed in 2014 from cancer. And I was just like, I just didn't like doing bankruptcies. I was tired of fighting with the Department of Justice because that's who your police is for those type of things. And essentially, that was my first realization at the power of entrepreneurship and business because basically all the statistics were against me. And I had beat the odds, the first person in my family to probably make that kind of money that I was making at the time. And so I then, long story short, entered into cannabis as just a business owner and found more impact by helping other people start their business. I like to tackle tough things. And so I spent the last essentially 9 to 10 years in the cannabis industry. And through that, I really started to get into the politics of everything, but more so, I'm not necessarily a person that likes the politics because that's really people's behavior. I prefer like policy making.
Yeah.
And so then I decided I would run, and here I am, essentially 8 or 9 months later from the date that I decided. So that's pretty much the short version. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. I have to give her this real quick. Absolutely. Yes. Guys, that is Sarah Woodson. So we're going to get into the 5 questions that we have for our guests today. And the first question is about personal journey and catalysts. So, Miss Woodson, long before running for office, you built deep roots in Arapahoe County as an entrepreneur and community activist. What was the pivotal personal moment that you shifted your perspective and you decided it was time to step up and run for Colorado House of Representatives?
Yeah. So I was going to run for city council. And because by this time, I've created a lot of relationships. I know a lot of these council members. They've helped me with things at the Capitol. They've helped pass social equity policy in Aurora. And I like to get a call. Like I like to do what God has for my life. And for me, that isn't some voice that's like, Sarah, run for city. Like it's not like that. It's like constant validation and just signs that my decision is right. Or in the case of city council, nothing at all. So, because me asking someone what they think doesn't mean that I'm going to do what they think. I'm asking because I want to know. But I always expect opposition, because I will say, and I'm going to get back to this, but if for anybody listening that's trying to do something that other people don't do, that's difficult, that you could be counted out, prepare yourself to understand that people will always tell you what you can't do. Rarely will you find people that will tell you what you can do and that will support you. And when you find those people, you hold on to them very tightly, because for the most part, they are harder to find. Most people will consistently try to kill your dream. And I think that's something that all young people should know, that all entrepreneurs should know. And so for me, because I've known that for a while, you telling me what I can't do doesn't deter me. But I need to hear something. And so I didn't hear anything around city council. And so I was like, you know what? There's some young women that are running, and I'm going to support them. I think they're fabulous. I like to see women doing well. That for me just makes me happy. Like, yes, girl, do your thing. Like, that's genuinely how I feel about when I see young women, especially women of color, doing well. So I asked around, and I was like, there's so many issues in 42, which is Mississippi to Colfax, Chambers, to Yosemite, a little bit of airport, but it really is the heart of Aurora. So all of Old Aurora, Central Aurora, that's all this district. So this is an important district. Yes. So I'm like, where's the person that, is a part of this, that's supposed to be running this district for us? Because I want to talk to her. Like, I have all these things I want to talk about. And people were just flat out like, she doesn't show up. Good luck finding her. And so I call, good luck. Let me know if you can talk to her, let me know, because I can't. Mind you, I still didn't even know this lady's name. So I called some legislators and I was like, hey, can a person not show up and be a state representative? And they said, yeah, in politics. And so I was like, okay. And right then and there, the seed was planted, because I was like, you shouldn't be able to do that. And so now I'm like, all right, and then as we go, and then my first encounter with her, I was like, Yeah, no, so it was just those things. And then I went to DC and it was my first time there. If anyone hasn't been, you should go, especially if you have a desire to make change in people's lives. It's very inspirational place. And so when I went to DC, I was just getting all these signs. And from the moment that I thought about running to DC, that was like a 60-day window. And literally every day for 60 days, I would get signs of why I should run, why I should run. So now it's just like, I got to get my husband on board, because I haven't been working, because I have, business will run itself, but I haven't been like engaged like how I usually do, because I've just stopped everything to run my campaign. And so, yeah, so that was it. It was really just a calling and some validation along the way. And the need to have present leadership, the need to have accessible leadership, and the need to have someone that's going to work hard, because this is a district where there's so much that needs to be done that you literally need to, like you need to fall in love with the work. And so that's where I'm at right now. And that's what got me to this. And then, of course, I have the background to be able to do it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Woodson. Like I said, we are so proud of everything that you have accomplished, which leads me to my next question, which is about June 30th, which was not too long ago, which is about a month ago. So you recently achieved a major milestone by winning the June Democratic primary for House District 42 with over 67% of the vote. Pulling off a victory like that takes incredible grassroots organizing. Looking back on election night, what message do you think the voters of Aurora, Arapahoe County sent? And how did that moment feel for you personally?
So personally, the moment, just you were there with me, it just felt like validation of all the hard work that I've done. I am a person that I enjoy the journey of things, and in my mind I already believe what the result will be. So for the longest, I told people I'm going to win this race, and then that's when I realized, oh, you're not supposed to run against an incumbent. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. But sorry, not sorry. Oh, it's going to be so difficult. Okay. And I would go places and stand up and tell people, I believe I'm going to win this race. And they would be like, that's great that you have confidence. But again, remember, people will always tell you what you can't do. Right. So, and it's really not their fault. It's just how we've been conditioned, and it really takes independent thinking to step outside of that and to feel good about believing in yourself. And so you saw, someone called me and told me that I won before we were all together. I was like, oh, okay. And so I think for me, because, and I don't know if you're even going to touch on this, but there were people that when I first started this race that I genuinely respected. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, I've lost that for you, because I think people will show you who they are and you better believe them. And so for me, it was always hard work. I tell people all the time, and they think when I say this, I'm kidding. It's hard to outwork me because I get into this zone where I'm waking up thinking about this. I'm going to bed thinking about, like, it becomes my life and I enjoy that. And so all I did was work on this campaign every single waking moment of my time. And when I would knock on doors, I did things a lot different. And I think that's the beauty of being a business owner, is, they're like, cut your turf on van, go to this place, go to that place. And I was like, you know what? I am going to do that, but I'm also going to go knock on independent doors. I'm also going to go knock on a ton of apartments because I live in an apartment. I'm also going to go to all the trailer parks in my area. I'm going to go to all of the immigrant owned businesses, and even though I'm like, yeah, I'm African, my mom's African, they're like, lady, come on. But at the same time, I ran into people that were like, I have my whole family vote for you. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of hard work And I just believe that hard work pays off. And even if I would not have won the race, I would have still felt good about all the work that I did. But there was nothing in my mind that made me believe for 1 second that I wasn't going to win. So, yeah.
Had to add that in there because that is absolutely beautiful. No, when you're resilient and when you believe in yourself, whatever you manifest will come to pass. So I definitely believe that that's what happened here. Because yeah, seeing you win that night was absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna head on to question number three, which is obviously you guys know I care about the human aspect of everyone, right? So this is about personal well-being and mental health. So, running a high stakes campaign while balancing entrepreneurship, advocacy, and personal life requires immense stamina. Holding space for a community can be heavy work. How do you prioritize and take care of your own mental health? And what practices keep you grounded when the pressures build up?
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. The way I take care of my own mental health is by telling the truth. It will free you up like nothing ever, right? And what that looks like is if I'm dealing with someone that's being difficult, I tell the truth in that moment. Now I might not do it immediately, right? Because I prefer to figure out, okay, let me try to understand who this person is. Let me try to understand their personality, you know what I mean? But I am very comfortable in telling the truth. And that doesn't mean being rude. That means just
Right.
telling the truth.
Right.
And that helps for me with my mental health. Like if I have to be in a space where I have to lie, manipulate, pretend, just do everything that you could think of that's negative, as you know, when we think about human behavior, that type of stuff chips away at your mental health because essentially you don't have the ability to be you and be free. And
Right.
so I learned a long time ago, just having direct, truthful conversation is a huge piece of being in a good mental space. Also, I have a really good partner. I think that's really good. Like I've been with my husband, he's my high school sweetheart. He knows how I am. He knows how I can become obsessed with my work. And so, he's very supportive about me. Making sure my house is clean, making sure my space is quiet, having fresh plants, like all of those things help me with my mental health. And so also though, I will say from the time I was 20, about 23 to 32, all I did was read personal development books.
Mm.
Yes. And so, like, that really has been a lifesaver for me when dealing with people, when dealing with situations. Um, and then also, I think for my mental health is like everything I put in is usually positive. So every now and then I'll have my little reality show if I just want to be like, I'm done. My brain is dead. I can't do anything. But, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm listening to something positive, so it's a lot of positivity around me. You can even, I mean, you don't know a bunch of people that was working with me, but I would tell people like, hey, I didn't ask you for that unsolicited advice. Like, don't come over here planting negative seeds in what I'm trying to do. Right. And that is telling the truth when someone says, oh, well, you can't do this. And it's just like, well, I didn't ask you for that. I'm asking you, how can I do this? So
Right.
either you want to help me or you don't, So that's pretty much how I take care of my mental health. It's just by being truthful.
I absolutely love that. We need more people like you because a lot of people like to stem in lies and not give it to people how much I want to say this, not give it to people real,
Yeah.
basically. And yeah, we need more transparency. So I absolutely love that. So question number four pertains to small business and economic opportunity. You mentioned earlier you are a small business owner and the founder of The Color of Cannabis, and you know firsthand what it takes to build opportunity from the ground up. From a policy standpoint, what are the biggest hurdles local entrepreneurs face in Aurora, Arapahoe County, and how can legislation better support people trying to build sustainable economic freedom?
So there's two things. It's always going to be this one, which is money, funding. That's just what it is, right? That's the biggest hurdle a small business faces. And then the second thing is regulation, 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 regulation. I heard our to be, because I believe he will be the governor, Governor Weiser, say that regulation is like garlic. You only need a little bit of it, and if you do too much, you mess things up, right?
Mhm.
I think that it's important to have legislators that are actually small business owners, especially when we're talking about business. Because I will tell you, in the cannabis industry, I owned a delivery business, I owned a medical store, I owned buses. I owned, what else did we have? Manufacturing, a manufacturing facility. Um, even in the bankruptcy business, every single business that I've ever owned as a small business owner, I have essentially been regulated out of profitability. And so regulations are a huge thing. And I think it's very important that we understand that, like, when you're regulating people, because people are always trying to regulate large corporations, you have to really be thoughtful about that, because when you have money, you can always get around regulations. And if you've never seen this happen before, it's hard to believe, right? But this is what we call like the unintended consequences of overregulation. And small businesses, not only in cannabis industry, but throughout the sector, are paying for that. You shouldn't have to spend 7 to 8 months trying to open up a restaurant because of regulations and inspections and all those things. If you don't have the money to sustain, if you don't have a runway, meaning like, okay, I can pay on a building for 12 to 24 months until I open up and go through inspections, then you're going to run out of money before you even open up. And I think even people don't know. And I'm talking about this because I feel like a lot of people were trying to understand, well, why are corporations or other people like that supporting you? It's because I will be very intentional about how I look at regulating things. And I will always think about, how will this negatively impact a small business owner? Even when you think, a lot of people don't know this because politicians will always just say like affordable housing, affordable housing. And I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, are you going to explain to people why housing is not affordable? And a lot of it comes down to regulations. And so some people say, no, no, no. Big builders and corporations, they just want to make so much money. They just want to make a profit. They're going to make a profit regardless. But when you overregulate, that trickles down to people like me and you. And so if it takes a builder 7 to 8 months just to go through permitting and licensing before they can lay foundation, who do you think's paying for those costs? You think a corporation is going to pick up the cost for us? No, it's going back on the homeowner. And so we really have to look at policies that make sure that we are always protecting the consumer, but that we are not regulating it to a point where you're making it unaffordable to live in Colorado. And so that will be my biggest thing at the Capitol, is having those difficult, hard conversations about, how do we make sure that we're protecting small business? How do we make sure that we're protecting consumers? And how do we make sure that we're holding corporations accountable so that they're putting out good product, they're creating good policies, always knowing that the bottom line is a corporation only cares about their profit. And so these are the nuances that I'm excited about hearing from my colleagues and hearing from stakeholders to make Colorado a place where small business can thrive. Because right now it's not that way. It's too many regulations. So that's my thing. Regulation, schmegulation.
And we can't wait for you to get that shaking and moving, because that is absolutely ridiculous. Because I'm having issues with my small business, and I'm in the beginning stages. So whatever you can do to help us, we are going to be so grateful to you. And I know that District 42, we are definitely excited for November and for the years to come, for sure. So this is our final question, guys. So it is about community legacy and future vision. So when young people look at House District 42, when they look at your journey from a local business owner to winning the state legislative primary, they see what's possible in community leadership. As you look ahead to the state house, what is the core legacy that you hope to build for the families coming up behind you?
Yeah. So the only thing that I think is wonderful about having this title is that you have the ability to work in your community. And I think that sometimes legislators don't have that ability because the system is set up to where you really have to be like independently wealthy, or you have to have something going on in the back because it doesn't pay enough to even live in Colorado, right? And
No.
so for me, the fact that I am privileged enough and in this position, I'm going to use my title and the power that the people have bestowed on me to not only work on things at the Capitol, because everything I want to work on at the Capitol is going to cost money. It's going to be difficult, but I can guarantee my folks that I am going to try, and I am not going to sit down and just be there playing around. I'm going to be working on your behalf, advocating on your behalf, and fighting on your behalf when I have to. But on the other end, I'm going to be in my community heavily. And so one of the things that I've already identified and that I'm excited to get the ball rolling is we have the only library named after Dr. Martin Luther King in House District 42 in the whole state of Colorado. And that library has to be utilized in a way that every other library in any other community is utilized. Moms should be good bringing their kids to the library. We should be outside in Fletcher Park, having jazz, having taco trucks, having art festivals. That is the business corridor. And the more I get to know those business owners, the more that my now ultimate and only desire is to help our mayor and our city council and our county commissioners get that piece of Colfax cleaned up. And so, yes. And so for me, it's helping those business owners, because here's the thing, right? We have to tackle homelessness. We have to address those things. But I also grew up in this community, and we can never get comfortable with, when I used to take the 15 up and down Colfax, it was people doing drugs and the same situation going. And that was when I went to South Middle School, and so that was, I don't know how long ago that I was in 6th grade, but it's still happening. And so for me, right, people have been doing such amazing and great work. My thing is to now build off what people are doing, what the business owners tell me that they need. Let me go work on that, and then have those difficult conversations, because nobody likes somebody that's going to come in and start telling them what to do, right? And so my goal is not to do that. I think that's what new young people do when they're trying to create change. My goal is to really be like, what has been working, what has not been working, and let me go try to fight for what we need to get working. And so my biggest community legacy in the next, and I'm not talking about 8 years, I'm talking about in the next 24 months, we will be outside at Fletcher Park with music festivals, with jazz festivals, with taco trucks. We will activate that downtown space so that businesses know at least this one day a month, it's going to be a fluxion of economic development coming in, so that I can carry my payroll, because these are the things that matter. And so that for me is the biggest thing that I want to do in my first term, is making sure that our downtown district really begins to thrive. So yeah, that's my thing.
Guys, this is State Representative Sarah Woodson, guys. This interview has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being on Morning Mimosas today. Do you have any final words before we head out for the day?
I just want to let everybody know, you can always reach out to me, all the social medias, and I know I should know all my tags, but I'm 43 years old, so I stopped keeping up with that stuff a long time ago. So just look for me, y'all. And then my email, though, I know my email, Woodson for hd42@gmail.com. So you can hit me up on my email. And if you see me, come and talk to me. If you're having an issue, like, that's what I'm supposed to do, is try my best to help you fix the problem. I can't promise that I can help you fix it, but I can promise that I will try my best. And yeah, I'm just excited about our community. I'm excited about the bills I want to run. So yeah, just let me know if you need something from me, because I am here to serve you. That is the purpose of this job, not to be, oh, I'm state representative. And it's like, okay, but what are you doing to help the people? So I'm here for y'all. So please hit me up if you need some help.
Thank you again, Ms. Woodson. And I will also put her contact information in the comments on all the platforms. Guys, we're going to get out of here. We both have very busy days. Guys, this is Morning Mimosas. As you guys know, we empower the Black and minority community through wellness, justice, and wisdom. You guys have a great day. See you later.
God bless.